Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class. Let me offer my prayers. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaivam narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam utiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhakti bhavati naishtiki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, not sharing my screen, right? Let me share my screen. All right. Today we are going to learn and discuss from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, Text number 11. एतानिर्विद्यमानानाम् इच्छतामकुतो भयं योगिनां नृपनिर्नित्यं हरेर्नामानुकीर्तनम् एतानिर्विद्यमानानाम् इच्छताम् अकुतो भयं योगिनां नृपनिर्नित्यं हरेर्नामानुकीर्तनम्. Synonyms: etat, it is nirvidyamanam, of those who are completely free from all material desires. Ichatam, of those who are desirous of all sorts of material enjoyment. Akuta bhayam, free from all doubts and fear. Yoginam, of all who are self-satisfied. Nripa, O king. Nirnittam, decided truth. Hare, of the Lord. Shri Krishna. Nama, holy name. Anu, after someone, always. Kirtanam, chanting. Translations: O king, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authority is a doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and those who are self satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. So, this purport is quite long. I'm thinking, in the interest of the time, I have summarized this, and towards the end, where we will be talking about the 10 offenses, I would like to read and then discuss that. So that way we'll be quite efficient in the interest of the time. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कथा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे. So, before I speak, I seek the blessings of all assembled devotees here, and to my spiritual master, and to our DT Shishi Nitai Gaurachandra, so that I can speak meaningfully about this purport. And let's start from here. So, this verse is a very important verse, and this is applicable to everyone in this room. In this Zoom call, I know it talks about Srila Prabhupada is talking extensively about the 4 classes of men. So the 4 classes of men are the karmis, who are the materialistic person. and their functioning is they are functioning for their material desires. So um, they whatever they see, it's called ichatam. So ichatam means whatever they see they would like to enjoy it. So that sort of mentality um, is um, is being carried forward by those persons. Okay, so those are karmis. And then the second is nirvidyamanam. So nirvidyamana means one who is frustrated, or those who don't have any desires, because they are disgusted and they say, I don't need anything, I'm getting out from this material enjoyment, I don't need this world. One end of the thing is the karmis. They are very much interested in whatever they see, like I want this, I want this. They work too hard and to acquire that. Another end is I'm totally frustrated. This world is so disgusting, I don't need anything. So that sort of opposite end is the nirvidyamana. And the third one is akudo bhayam. Akudo bhayam means a fearless persons. And the yogis who are in the transcendental and in the mode of yogic and jnanis. Okay, and so this looking at this third category, which is called akuto bhayam. Akuto bhayam means fearless. Who can be so fearless? So that is the point, that fear is a constant part of the conditioned life. So we know that agara nidra bhaya maituna. So eating, agara nitra, sleeping, bhayam, which is the fear, and for the defending, and maituna is mating. So these are all the propensities of animal which also exist in a conditioned life. So one who is fearless means that he is a liberated person. Liberated persons like a devotees like Prahlad Maharaj. So if you see the case of Prahlad Maharaj, he is totally he was being tortured extremely by his father Hiranyakashipu, who was a demon. But he acted so fearlessly because he has taken the shelter of the Lord Vishnu. And so that is why the devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, if you see their name, I mean, like their life, it's like Narayana Paraha. Narayana Paraha means that one who has taken the shelter of the lotus feet of Narayana in their entire life. So that sort of person is fearless, and they have nothing for that. And on the other end, if you see the gopis in Vrindavana, they are totally for the satisfaction of Krishna. So even when they were asked to give the dust from their feet, they say, why are you asking for the dust? It is for the your dust is something that will cure Krishna's headache. Immediately they say, they don't think anything about it. Okay, they didn't ask like, why should my dust be given for Krishna's headache or whatever that is? Immediately, oh, it is something for Krishna, I'm offering it right away now, please take it. So the gopis, the mood of a gopis is anything that will be satisfying Krishna. So that is what they were up to it. So they were not interested on their own self satisfaction or self sense gratification. There is nothing like that. So these are the four types of men. The karmis, the nirvidyamana people, like who are totally disgusted and they have no desire for a material enjoyment. Akuto bayam, who are the devotees who are totally fearless, and the yogis. Okay, and irrespective of these class of men, what is important is like whether you are a karmi, yogi, or a bhakta, or a jnani, it is important that you have to hear the instructions from the authorities. So that is the Vedic conclusion. So instructions, any sort of knowledge that should come, and that should be that has to be accepted only from the authorities. So here in this case, Srila Sukadev Goswami is the authority. So what is Srila Sukadev Goswami saying is, he is recommending the transcendental chanting of the holy name. And what is he saying? That it is a Harer Nama Anukirtanam. So Anu means, what is Anu? Anu means, one of the meaning is to follow the footsteps of the previous acharyas. So that is the meaning of Anu. So we are also known as Rupanugas. So Rupanugas meanings that we follow the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswamis. So that is why we are called as Rupanugas. So it is also stated that here it is mentioned, one should constantly chant the holy name of Lord after hearing from authorities. So this means the constant chanting of the holy name is from the authorities is the first and primemost essential factor. Like, like it's not that I read something from the internet, I'm doing that. No, that's not the way it is. As yesterday Mataji was saying about avaroga pattern, which aroga means descending and avaroga means aroga means ascending and avaroga means descending. It has to come from the descending mode, from the disciplic succession, and that's the message that we have to hear and accept it. So what is the benefit of hearing from the authorities, and how does it impact us? Hearing from authorities gradually promotes one to the stage which is known as here, so that that will elevate to the to hearing about Krishna's form, and then gradually promotes to Krishna's attributes, and then gradually promotes to Krishna's pastimes. So it is said that the Nama will promote one to Nama, Rupa and Leela. So Nama, Rupa, Leela. This chanting of the holy name will gradually. The gradually is the very important first. It's not very immediately. In a due course of a practice, it will gradually promote for us to realize the Krishna's form, Krishna's attributes and qualities, and to Krishna's pastimes. So that it promotes it in that way. And Sukadev Goswami is saying that this has to be heard from the authorities, and it has to be how the chanting helps. It is not only for the devotees. So it's very explicitly said, it is not only for the devotees who are engaged in the process of devotional service. The other three classes of men who are discussed, whether it is a karmi or a yogi or a jnani, or other persons, it is even beneficial for a person who has full of materialist desire. It's another famous verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, that is 2.3.10, very famous verse. Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udharati tivrena bhakti yoge yajata purusham param. So the here is tivrena bhakti yoga. So this devotional service is applicable to anyone who has no material desires, or who is full of material desires. It is the process that will help. Okay, so it is on the other side. Besides this purport, the very famous purpose, akama sarva kama, whether you have akama, no desires, no material desires, sarva kama, all material desires, okay, or moksha kama, you want to be liberated, that sort of a desires. Irrespective of that, it is going to tivrena bhakti yoga. That process is purusham param, ejata purusham param. So that is the verse which says, emphasize about the importance of devotional service that is applicable to all sort of men. So we heard about the four classes of men, and how they should hear from the authorities, and how this is beneficially not only to the devotees as part of the 9 devotional process. It is also helping whether you have material desires or no material desires. This is applicable to everyone. So that's why I started this class. This is applicable to everyone, every one of us, whether we have no material desires or some material desires or mixed. It is the right process to be engaged. And here Sukadeva Goswami, so here Jiva Goswami is talking how should the chanting be done. So the chanting should be done loudly and it should be performed offenselessly. Okay, so the benefit of a chanting louder is it also benefits other living entities around us. And sometimes that we think, okay, it's only my family living in this home, which is not the case. There are so many um, bugs, insects, rabbits, birds, around us. They will also be benefited by this chanting. The vibration, and it will also benefit. So that is the purpose, that it should be chanted louder, and more important thing, it should be chanted offenselessly as recommended in the Padma Purana. Okay, so that is the benefit. And one can deliver himself from the effects of all sins by surrendering himself unto Lord. One can deliver himself from all offenses at the feet of the Lord by taking shelter of the holy name. So the form of the holy name, Nama Prabhu, is so merciful that by one taking the shelter of the holy name, like that help us to get rid of the destroys the sins and the offenses that one may have committed knowingly or unknowingly in our life. So this is very important. So the form and the name and the form of a Krishna are one and the same, and it is when the name is so merciful, that is why we are all engaged in the process of a chanting and hearing. So so that is the primary importance. And so let's talk about the 10 offenses mentioned in the Padma Purana. So this is slightly elaborated in this purport, and this is part of our morning program in ISKCON, that we recite the 10 offenses. So the first offense is to vilify the great devotees who have preached about the glories of the Lord. So vilify meaning is the blasphemy. So the first offense is it's about blaspheming the great devotees who have preached the glories of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada says that this is the first offense and the worst offense, like blaspheming the devotees. So we should not be engaged either in directly blasphemy or talking negative or bad about other devotees or other great devotees, or we should not engage in listening to someone talking some bad. We should not be present, and we should not be supporting that sort of a conversation. And it is quite true, like if you see that if someone is a blasphemy in the devotees, we may not be in a position to go and say, Prabhu, this is not correct, or Mataji, this is not correct. We think that by going and saying that to them, we will be offending that person. That sort of thing is not correct. Srila Prabhupada is very straightforwardly saying that. No. So how do we practically handle those sort of situations? You can ask whether those sort of situation is possible. Yes, it is possible. And devotees are also human beings. Sometimes some situations, time, place, circumstances make them to act in that way. In that aspect, how as a practicing devotee handle when someone is talking something about that, we are in a situation that he is talking to us. In that situation, we can very well say, Prabhu or Mataji, for your level, this may be for your level of a Krishna consciousness, it may be okay. I am not at that level, so it will definitely affect my devotional life or my sadhana. So I would kindly request to forgive me and excuse me. I don't want to participate or listen to this. So that is the best way for us to get out from that sort of a situation. And Also, while we do in by quoting our life and our sadhana, that will also alert the person, oh, okay, that will put a break on the person who is offending and who is talking in that. So the first offense is to vilify against the great devotees who have preached the glories of the Lord. So we can escape from that, and at the same time we can also convey very smart way about you are going in that sort of a track of offending great devotees. Please be careful and mindful about what you're talking about. The second offense is to see the holy names of Lord in terms of worldly distinction. The Lord is the proprietor of all universes, and therefore he may be known in different places by different names, but that does not in any way qualify the fullness of the Lord. Any nomenclature which is meant for the Supreme Lord is as holy as others because they are all meant for the Lord. Such holy names are as powerful as the Lord, and there is no bar for anyone in any part of the creation to chant and glorify the Lord by particular name of the Lord as it is locally understood. They are all auspicious, and one should not distinguish such names of the Lord as material commodities. So the name of the Lord is so powerful, and the Lord is being called in different places in different time. He's been called with a different names, but the name of the Lord is powerful. Like to cite this, Srila Prabhupada had a disciple, a Muslim disciple in those days. I don't know his legal name, but he was being given an initiated name as Atreya Rishi. He is from Tehran. So he came to the US. He got initiated from Srila Prabhupada, and after some point he was asked to go back to Tehran to do the preaching activities. And when he went there, Srila Prabhupada, emphasized, he didn't. Srila Prabhupada is very, like Srila Prabhupada is very strategic and tactical. Like he knows how to handle it. He didn't emphasize that devotee Atreya Rishi to go and say make everyone chant Hare Krishna. No, he said make everyone chant the names of Allah. That's what he said, because he knows it is a very risky place, and he emphasized your duty is to make everyone chant Allah, because it is the name of Allah is representing the Lord. It is like it is in it is the name in a different religion, different region, and it is locally understood, so there is no distinction. So that's why he emphasized to chant the name of Allah and to love the God. So the important factor is religion means to the love God. So if we love our relatives, okay, it is relationship. If we love God, that is bhakti. So that is that. So he was emphasizing the bhakti by chanting the name as it is understood locally. And the second, ISKCON is not a sectarian movement, so it is not just only meant for Hindus, or it is meant for anyone, any creation in this world. So that is why it is mentioned for others too in the Logan. The third offense is to neglect the orders of authorized acharyas and scriptural masters, which is straightforward. I don't need to. And the fourth offense is to vilify the scriptures or Vedic knowledge. So one, we should not blaspheme the great devotees, and the second, we should not blaspheme any scriptures or Vedic knowledge. And the fifth offense is to define the holy name of the Lord in terms of mundane calculation. The holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord himself, and one should understand the holy name of Lord to be non-different from him. So the holy name and the Lord are identical. So there is, like if we make some offense on the holy name, we are offending the Supreme Lord, and they are non-different, and we had to be quite careful about that. And the sixth offense is to interpret the holy name. The Lord is not imaginary nor his holy name. There are persons with poor fund of knowledge who thinks the Lord to be an imagination of the worshipper and therefore thinks his holy name to be imaginary. Such a chanter of the name of the Lord cannot achieve desired success in matter of chanting the holy name. So many times that we think, it's an imagination. When you say we, it's not we, it's, as a human, oh, it's an imagination, we build that imaginary persona and then we do that. That's not the case. It is that's an offense, and we should not, that's not going to benefit the purpose of a chanting. The chanting is in the mood of a service. That's not going to benefit if we create some sort of imaginary vision and imaginary and think that this process is imaginary, this holy name is imaginary. That is not correct, and that's an offense. And the seventh offense is to commit intentionally on the strength of the holy name. In the scriptures, it is said one can be liberated from the effects of all sinful actions simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. One who takes the advantage of the transcendental methods and continues to commit sins on the expectation of neutralizing the effects of the sins by chanting the holy name of Lord, it is the greatest offender at the feet of the holy name. Such offender cannot purify himself by any recommended methods of purification. In other words, one may be a sinful man before chanting the holy name of the Lord, but after taking the shelter in the holy name of the Lord and becoming immune, one should strictly restrain oneself from committing sinful acts with the hope that this method of chanting the holy name will give him protection. So this we know that the chanting of the holy name destroys the sins and the offenses. Okay, and we should not be engaging in act that, okay, this chanting is going to destroy the sins and offenses, I can continue the sinful activities that I'm very much attached or I'm used with that. We cannot continue the sinful activities or creating some offenses knowing the strength of the holy name is so vital that it will destroy it. So that is a great offense. So that should not be continued. And the eighth offense is to consider the holy name of the Lord and his chanting to be equal to some material auspicious activity. So there are various kinds of good works for material benefits, but the holy name and his chanting are not merely auspicious holy service. Undoubtedly, the holy name is the holy service, but he should never be utilized for such purpose. Since the holy name of the Lord are for the one and the same identity, one should not try to bring the holy name in the service of mankind. The idea is that the Supreme Lord is the supreme enjoyer. He is no one's servant or ordered supplier. Similarly, since the holy name of Lord is identical with the Lord, one should not try to utilize the holy name for one personal service. So the here it is, the holy name is identical to the Supreme Lord. So the holy name, we are engaging in the service. We are asking Radharani, the Ladini Shakti, to please engage me in the service of Krishna. So that is the mood that we are chanting on. That's not the other way around. We should not thinking that, okay, by chanting, we will make Krishna to do whatever. Oh, Krishna, I need this. Can you please fulfill this? That's not the mood. That's an offense. It's so we are chanting so that through this process of chanting, Krishna's senses, it is satisfying Krishna. It is not that on the other way around. So that's an offense. The ninth offense, to instruct who is not interested in chanting the holy name of the Lord about transcendental nature of the holy name. If the instruction is imparted to an unwilling audience, the act is considered to be offense at the holy name. So we have to be trained, and we have to know to whom should we preach and whom we cannot instruct, or we cannot force someone who has no faith or who has no no interest. That's, we have to be quite smart in identifying and preaching. We cannot really go and even though it is said that it is also meant for the materialistic person, but we have to be smart. And if a person is not interested, and if he's going in a very negative way, that we cannot emphasize the chanting to that person at that particular point of time. We should be quite careful, because we cannot do that. That's an offense. And the 10th offense is to become uninterested in the holy name of the Lord even after hearing of the transcendental nature of the holy name. The effect of chanting the holy name of Lord is perceived by the chanter as liberation from the conception of false egoism. False egoism is exhibited by thinking oneself to be the enjoyer of the world and thinking everything in the world to be meant for the enjoyment of oneself only. The whole materialistic world is moving under false egoism, I and my. But the factual effect of a chanting the holy name is to become free from the misconception. So this is about inattentiveness while chanting. We have to provide our complete attention to the chanting so that it benefits us for the real purpose. So the real purpose is to remove the false egoism, that thinking that I am the enjoyer of this world, I and my, and that sort of thing, should be destroyed. That and so that contamination has to be removed. So without being inattentive, it's Prabhupada says that this inattentiveness, if you focus on this offense, everything will falls into place. And attentive chanting will help us to be mindful about the other offenses, and it is going to help. So we learned who is eligible for chanting, how the chanting should be done, and we also learned about the various offenses. And what is the benefit of this chanting? The chanting, when we chant, it is helping us to cleanse the heart. Cheto darpana marjanam. It is helping to cleanse the thing. And why it is said it is, if you say, take an example in Ramayana. Ravana was killed by Rama in the region of a heart. He shot an arrow, and the arrow killed Ravana in the heart. The Rava here, the arrow hit in the heart, and Ravana was destroyed. Why? In the heart region, because the heart is a place which stores the lust. Like all the lust resides in the heart, and the lust is very tricky. It cannot be removed or destroyed by any sort of intellectual or material way. So that's why Rama shot an arrow to the Ravana, who is an embodiment of lust. So in this way, this chanting Cheto Tarpana Mahajanam, it removes the lust and other contamination that resides in the heart, so that the false egoism and the service mentality, like that I am trying to do this for the pleasure of a Krishna, that is what I am doing. So it is always two pocket program, one for me and one for Krishna. In that way, we can be mindful that we are doing this activity for the pleasure of Krishna, so that it is I don't want to take anything for my satisfaction. I don't want this thing to go to my pocket so that it will be used for gratifying my senses. No, rather that it is, chanting is a service, and the output of the service is to benefit the gratifying the senses of Krishna. So let me engage in the service. Let me engage in that mode. So Krishna be satisfied. Like the gopis were saying, it is for Krishna. So whatever that is for satisfying or the need for Krishna, let me do it. That sort of eagerness comes in my mind, so that I can be benefited. So with that, this is the summary. I read the translation once again. O King, constant chanting of the holy name of Lord after the ways of the great authority is the doubtless and fearless way of a success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. Thank you, everyone, for giving me this opportunity to talk and discuss. If there are some discussion, we can discuss this now. Thank you. Okay, if there are no points for discussion.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Prabhuji, thank you. Very powerful message, Prabhuji. So nice. I think I'm going to listen to this a few more times. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. The powerful message is coming from Srila Prabhupada. And one thing that I recently heard from my spiritual master is the success of a class is not whether it is a short class or whoever is giving that. The success of a class is whether we are in a position to deliver the message of Srila Prabhupada. So yes, this is a very powerful message that Srila Prabhupada has given, and it is very inspiring. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for your encouragement.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Same, thank you Prabhu. It is very nice to be refreshed on the fundamentals, and you gave a very nice class. And I like especially the Nama promotes one to the Nama Rupa Leela, that one, everybody should remember that. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Lingaraj Prabhu, I think I took 8 minutes over the time, and thank you for providing this opportunity. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhu bhavacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you. There's a message in the chat, okay.